Gather round, kiddies, and I will tell you a Christmas story. Hello! Welcome to the Vintage Girl Next Door. My name is Laci, and today I thought it would be fun to sit down and talk to you about Christmas traditions. So I figured I would tell you a little bit about some of my Christmas traditions, and I would love it if you would let me know what are your favorite Christmas traditions in the comments. I would love to hear. So yeah, we'll get right into it. Okay, so one of my longest traditions that I remember from being super little, clear up until, I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago or so, one of my favorite things was going on the mountain and cutting down a Christmas tree. So we would get all bundled up in our winter clothes. Like, usually there's a ton of snow up there by the time that we go, because you can't go until like November, else your tree will be all dried up by Christmas. So like late November, right after Thanksgiving, usually weekend after Thanksgiving, then my brother and I would get all bundled up. My parents, we would load into the truck, or I remember way back in the day, my dad had an old Bronco, and we would load up in the car. We would play Christmas music and drive up the mountain or out into the desert, whichever, depending on where we lived. And we would hunt for the perfect Christmas tree, and sometimes it was like a quick trip. Sometimes we would hunt and hunt and hunt, and it's so funny because I always remember, like, we're driving along and we're looking out the window and like, oh, that one looks good, that one looks good, that one looks good, and my dad like wouldn't stop because he had it in his mind where he wanted to go. And so my mom would always be like, you're passing all the good trees. Like, I've seen about 50 so far that we could have cut down. But it's so funny because he just always had like the prime spot in his mind picked out of where we were going to go and hunt, because my dad worked for the railroad, Union Pacific Railroad, all growing up, and so he worked outside every day. He was a track welder, and so he would always scope it out like beforehand while he was working or whatever. So he would always know where we were going to go and have a plan to find the perfect Christmas tree. Like it was like Christmas vacation. Like, we would hike through the snow, my dad carrying the hacksaw, and we would find the perfect tree, cut it down, drag it back to the car or to the truck and load it in and bring it home and set it up and decorate. And it was just, I don't know, it was so much fun. Anyway, yeah, that was like one of my favorite, longest running, I guess, Christmas traditions. And so we always had to have a real tree that we would cut down. And it was so much fun. And I was the main one after so many years where my parents were like, well, maybe we should just get a fake tree or artificial tree this year. And I'd be like, no, we have to go cut one down. It's what we do. But so like about 5 years ago or so, I think I said 8, but really it's been only like 5 years or so ago. That's when we bought our home, our 50s home. And the first year we were in here, we did cut down a tree. But after that, then I got my dream aluminum Christmas tree with the color wheel. And so that kind of was the end of an era, I guess. Kind of bittersweet, I think. But now my family is fully embraced it. Like, my mom and dad, they have an artificial tree. They love it. Like, so it's fine. But I'll always remember that cutting down a tree with my family is one of my favorite Christmas memories, traditions, whatever you want to call it. So yeah. So another one of our longest running traditions, in fact, this has been a thing ever since I can even remember at Christmas time, is that on Christmas Eve we get to open one gift, and that gift is always Christmas pajamas. And so my brother actually coined the phrase the rigged gift because it was always pajamas. But it's so funny because I'm pretty sure it took us a really long time when we were little to figure it out. Like, it was just always like, oh yay, oh my gosh, it's pajamas. I don't know what we were thinking, but we didn't get it, I guess. In fact, sometimes I remember when we were really little, like I was probably like between the ages of like 5 and 8 years old and younger. We used to go to my grandma's house and all of the cousins would go. And I remember us all sitting on the couch lined up on Christmas Eve and singing. We had to sing Christmas songs and we had to sing them so loud and so pretty so that Santa would come and bring us our gift. And so yeah, we would be singing and like our little guts out and then we would hear the bell, like jingle bells ringing, and then the door would burst open and ho ho, and it was Santa, and he would bring a bag with each of us a little gift, and it was pajamas. And so that was so fun. I do remember that for our Christmas Eve for several years when I was really little. So yeah, so once we open our jammies, we all must put the jammies on, and we do this now, even as adults. All of us are pretty much grown up. We put our jammies on, and we all pile into the car, and we go look at Christmas lights. So we drive around town, play Christmas music, and we look at all of the Christmas lights and decorations around town. And then, this is a little bit more recent of a tradition, but as of the last, probably like the last 4 or 5 years, I would say, then part of our town decorations is a Santa sleigh, and it's kind of like in this little square, like it's called the Mayor's Square, I think, and there's like Christmas tree lights decorated, and then there's this Santa sleigh. So we all are in our Christmas jammies, we all pile into the Santa sleigh, and we take a picture. On Christmas Eve. And we have done this, like, if it's a blizzard outside, we've done it. If it's like 10 degrees, we still go and we put our jammies on and we go get in the sleigh, we take a picture. And it's so fun, and like, I don't know, it's turned into kind of like a joke now that we have to go do the picture in the sleigh. And in fact, this year they've moved the sleigh. It's now in the city park instead of the little square. So we may have to trek a little further into the in the snow to the sleigh. But I guarantee you we will still get our picture this year, and it will be amazing. I'll try to put it in my Instagram stories. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you got to get over there, because there's a few more traditions that I'm going to talk about that will be featured over there in stories for sure. So yeah, that's our other one, the Christmas jammies. Do you get jammies for a present on Christmas Eve? I feel like this is a really common one, but I love our own little twists that we put on it, with putting them on and riding around looking at Christmas lights and then the picture in the sleigh. So anyway, let me know. Do you guys get pajamas on Christmas Eve to wear for Christmas night? Let me know. Okay, another kind of, this one is a little more recent actually, ever since we've lived in our home, so about the last 4 years. We live in the best neighborhood, just so you know. It is literally the best. Our neighbors are the best. They're so sweet and kind, and we all kind of have this little neighborhood like camaraderie. I don't know what to call it, but anyway. So like, this is a little bit of a tangent, but before we closed on our house in November, and we didn't move in until the following like February, March-ish, because we were like refinishing the floors and just wanted to do some things before we moved in. But we closed in November, and I'm not kidding you, like all the neighbors left Christmas presents on our porch that year. We weren't even moved into the house, and people were leaving gifts on the porch. How sweet, right? Like, it was literally the best. neighborhood in the land. So anyway, so this tradition kind of stemmed from that. So our neighborhood gives gifts to each other. It's usually treats like homemade, like cookies, candy, fudge, or jam. A lot of neighbors give homemade jam. So along with that kind of tradition, I've come up with my like signature treat plate, I guess you could call it. So it's a neighbor from a block over. You've probably heard me talk about her before, is the sweetest lady. Her name is Betty Jean, and she saved everything. So she gave me a brand new in the box from 1955 cookie press. And she kept it in the box because she already had one, and she got that one as a gift. So she just never opened it and kept it for 60 years. So it's fine. And so she gave it to me, like the wonderful, sweet lady that she is. And so then I have decided that that will be my Christmas tradition, because then I make Christmas Ritz cookies, like butter cookies, and use the cookie press. And so you can make like little Christmas trees. There's one that's a camel and like a whole bunch of other shapes that are just so cute. And so I make the trees and you can like put food coloring in the cookie dough so they're like green or red, or like there's wreaths that I make yellow, I don't know. Anyway, so I make a plate of those cookies, and also I found the best ever recipe for gingerbread cookies, and they are the kind that stay soft, like they don't get crunchy. They're so good. They're so good. So yeah, I have people in our neighborhood that ask me, like in church, hey, you're making those gingerbread cookies this year, right? And I'm like, yep, yes. And so yeah, I thought about actually doing a video of the Christmas cookie plate. So let me know if you are interested in another cooking video. I would be happy to do the spritz cookies and the gingerbread cookies, and show you my little holiday plate that I put together for the neighbors. If you're interested, let me know. Anyway, yeah, so that's another tradition that we've come up with. I try to do it, a week before Christmas, but sometimes it ends up being like Christmas Eve day or the day before that I finally finish them. And so then I make all the cookies, and then we plate them and take them around and leave them on the neighbor's porch. So my husband and my son are in charge of the delivery of the cookies. So I usually wait in the car because it's usually freezing cold outside. And then my husband and son run them door to door and deliver them. So that's another fun one that I love, that we've started just since we've been here in our own home, which I also love. Okay, the last tradition that I'm going to tell you about is fast becoming one of our family favorites, and it is the tradition of the ugly ornament. So you have probably heard, everybody is doing the ugly sweaters. That's been a thing for several years now, ugly Christmas sweater. But this is the ugly Christmas ornament. So what we do all year, we search. We go to thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, even just regular stores sometimes. And you have to find the ugliest ornament that you can find. There's some rules. Really, the only main rule is that it has to be purchased. It cannot be something that you make, because that's not fair. You could make something super ugly, but if you have to find it like in the wild, your ugly ornament. And so we search, my whole family, my parents, brothers, sisters, and now we've gotten even aunts and uncles involved. And so we search the whole year to find the ugliest ornament that you can possibly find. And then we have our party. And sometimes our party's on Christmas Eve, sometimes it's like a few days before. And so we all get together, we have a yummy dinner. My mom is a really good cook, and she usually cooks some kind of a dinner. And then we do the unveiling of the ugly ornaments. And so we keep them secret even from each other. We try to. So like, if possible, I mean, it's harder when it's just like my husband and my son and I to keep them secret from each other, but we try to do that and then just unveil them at the party. So like, hello, Alice. Welcome. So we try, like, we don't show each other the ornaments, especially like outside the immediate family. We don't. It's a secret. And so we usually bring it like in a paper bag or something, or like wrapped up so that you can't, it's like, it's a secret. And then we have the unveiling, and we unveil them one at a time. Each person gets to showcase their ugly ornament to the group. And then we all vote, like Survivor style, I guess, one at a time, walk over into the other room, write down the ornament that we think is the ugliest, and then we put it all in, and then we tally the votes. And the winner usually gets some kind of a gift certificate, like to a restaurant or something. But yeah, it is hilarious, you guys. It's so funny. I will definitely post the ugly ornaments on my story on Instagram, so you must check those out. It's just the best. Like, that one is so funny. We just crack up the entire night. And also, we now have an ugly ornament Christmas tree, because we've been doing this at least 5 years now, possibly even longer. Maybe it's like 7. I don't even know, you guys. So we have a whole entire Christmas tree full of ugly ornaments, and it is just glorious. Every time it kind of reminds me of, you know, the classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop motion film where they have the aisle of the misfit toys. That's what it reminds me of. And it cracks me up because it's like the misfit ornaments that nobody wants, and they're just like randomly on the shelf at the thrift store, and we find them and we save them. And sometimes it's really funny too when you're checking out, like the the cashier checking you out, and they're like, oh, like, this is cute. And you're like, no. I know you think it's hideous, and that is the point. So yeah, that's another, it's a super fun one. It's a more recent one, but I love it. Like, we have so much fun together as a family, just laughing and sharing the hideous, ugly ornaments, and it's just so much fun. So yeah, those are a few of the Christmas traditions that I love to do with my family. I'm sure there's more that I'm just not thinking of right now, but those are the ones that come to mind when I think of like my favorite Christmas traditions and things that we do together. So yeah, let me know, what are your traditions? Tell me below. I would love to hear them and hear what you guys love to do around the holiday time. And I would love to wish you all such a happy holiday season. I hope that you are able to celebrate with those you love, and I hope that you are having a wonderful, wonderful holiday season so far. And also, if you would like to spread a little Christmas cheer and support my channel, I will leave a link to my Ko-fi page in the description. I appreciate each and every one of you just being here, being subscribed, reading your comments. All of those things just warm my heart every single day, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. And I hope that you are having